This week is going to be extremely important for Bitcoin because yes, on Wednesday, on the 10th of January, we're going to get the approval or the denial of the Bitcoin spot ETF. So does this mean that we're going to see a massive pump towards the upside or even this massive retracement towards the downside? We're going to look at the charts, the news and the facts to find out what we could expect, but we're also going to look at the altcoins because yes, we saw this dump in the overall crypto market, but is this the opportunity to dollar cost average and to buy the dip? We're going to look at the charts to find out what we could expect. And guys, yes, if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and most importantly, activate the bell so that you always stay up to date. And welcome back to B4Crypto. Yes, we saw this massive pump for Bitcoin all the way back to the top of the range that we have been talking about because yes, we had this major scam week all the way back down to this major trend line, but we're going to find out, are we going to fill this gap and come all the way back down before we're going to see this higher price movement? And what can we expect overall from the ETF approval? Are we going to get this massive breakout and never return to these levels, or could we dump all the way back down to the very important $31,000 level that we've been talking about on the weekly chart? And which trend is going to be important? We're going to look at the charts after we looked at the news, so let's go directly over to the news. Diverging views. Odds of a spot Bitcoin ETF getting approved in the US are now over 90% at Bloomberg. So yes guys, we can see that the overall market and the mainstream media are all anticipating that we're going to get the approval on Wednesday and that we could expect this godlike candle. But remember, like I told you in the previous video, that most probably all of these institutions, they have already bought Bitcoin and maybe they could even dump the price even lower to buy back even more. So guys, yes, we're going to look at the market to find out what we could expect because these major shakeouts within the markets are normal. So guys, yes, let's go over to the next news. Breaking: Bitcoin ETF applicants are filing last-minute amendments to lower their fees. And if we go over to the SEC's post or a source from the SEC, spot Bitcoin ETF issuers file S1 filings as expected. So is this the green light that everything is as expected and that we're going to get the approval on Wednesday? Guys, overall we could expect this massive pump towards the upside or even this dump, nobody knows, because yes, the hype around the ETF has been growing and there are a lot of traders trading this event. So yes, maybe we could expect a major dump or even a major pump towards the upside, but we're going to look at that on the charts. So let's go over to the next news. I found this post over on X from Crypto Jelly with Bitcoin ETF news coming any minute now. It feels like a good time to bring this chart back. We could crash all the way to 30,000 and the market structure would still be bullish. And yes, that is exactly what I told you guys, that we could expect this dump all the way back down to the $31,000 level. But guys, the other two possible scenarios are that we could expect this major pump for Bitcoin and then a correction like I told you in the previous videos, and then this continuation all the way up for Bitcoin breaking the previous high, or we're going to see this major sell-off from the ETF news come all the way back down to the local support where we are at the moment, and then we could expect that the price movement of Bitcoin is going to continue all the way up. Because yes guys, these retracements within the bull market are absolutely normal, because if we look at the market cycles in a bull market, we are exactly here. We saw this trend emerge with higher highs and higher lows. What we can see in the chart was exactly here where the price movement of Bitcoin broke this local high, and we could see the Bitcoin from the higher high and also higher lows. So this is ultimately exactly that point where we saw this turnaround. And at the moment guys, we are exactly within this green square where we can see guys, we are just before a major shakeout, before the market is going to continue with the momentum building. So yes, this would ultimately be the next step for Bitcoin, the momentum building up. But guys, in between we have the shakeout. So are we going to see the shakeout before we're going to get the Bitcoin halvening, that the price of Bitcoin comes all the way back down to the $31,000 level, and that the next step is going to be yes, the shakeout, and ultimately the next step for Bitcoin is going to be yes, the momentum building up after the shakeout phase. So is this going to be exactly the halvening phase where we could expect that the momentum is building up exactly after the Bitcoin halvening, and that we could expect this yes, parabolic run like we saw in the previous years, starting phase 2 of the bull market where we could expect this parabolic run towards the upside? Because yes, we need to look at the longer time frames to find out what we could expect for Bitcoin, and for that we're going to go over to the Bitcoin stock to flow model from Plan B, and we can see that the old stock to flow model is the gray line, and the new stock to flow model are the dotted line, which got corrected, and the red dots are the price movement of Bitcoin. And we can see that we are at the moment at this massive zone here, where we could see this next parabolic run towards the upside with a price target well above 100,000 US dollars. So yes guys, ultimately for Bitcoin, we could expect this major volatility. But before we're going to go to the altcoins, let's look at the daily and the weekly chart for Bitcoin to find out what can we expect in the immediate short term and also the longer time frames. Because yes, we can see on the daily chart that Bitcoin came all the way back up to these candle closes before we got this major shakeout towards the downside. And yes, we came all the way back to this major trend line. I also told you that Bitcoin doesn't like these V-shaped recoveries, but yes, this was due to fake news. So maybe we're not going to see that Bitcoin is going to fill this gap all the way down here and form a higher low, and that we could expect that yes, we're first going to fill this gap before we're going to get this next move even higher. Guys, at the moment I expect that yes, we're going to see a consolidation and a sideways move within this range of the range high and this major resistance exactly here, where we can see that the price movement of Bitcoin got the strong rejection. So I could expect that yes, we're going to get this volatile move all the way up and then all the way back down into this important range where we can see a lot of resistance and also support exactly in these levels, and that we could expect until Wednesday we're going to get this major decision or even the strong wicks towards the downside, filling this gap and then move up higher. Or we could expect that yes, Bitcoin is just going to pump all the way up to the 50,000 US dollar level, and that we could expect that yes, we're even going to break this level and this will act as support, and we're going to see that the price movement of Bitcoin is only going to continue up until the halving, and that we could expect this bullish move even higher, breaking the previous all-time high. But guys, ultimately the bearish case would be that we're going to get this pump to the 50,000 US dollar level and this major sell-off, because this major event from the Bitcoin spot ETF is finally over, and maybe even see a manipulation all the way back down to the 31,000 US dollar level, where all these institutions are going to load up the boat. And guys, yes, don't get scared of any wicks towards the downside, because overall guys, this is just normal, a healthy retracement after this massive pump and this massive 100% move for Bitcoin from the beginning of last year. We saw this 100% move. Yes, we saw this small retracement exactly here where the price movement of Bitcoin consolidated, and we saw this sideways move. But ultimately, after the strong move towards the upside, guys, we could expect a retracement, and the retracement levels, guys, would ultimately be either the 13 EMA, which would be a conservative dump, or even this major range that we have been forming exactly here where we saw this breakout towards the upside after this breakout from this major range. Or we could expect that yes, we're going to come all the way back down to the 31,000 US dollar level where we have the 100 and also the 50 moving average. But guys, I also found a new very important trend line which we are going to drag all the way from the bottom all the way up here, and you can see perfectly this maybe is our upward sloping trend that Bitcoin is going to hold before the Bitcoin halving, that we're going to dump all the way back down to the 31,000 US dollar. See how perfect it lines up with the 50 and the 100 moving average. So yes, this is ultimately my bearish case scenario for Bitcoin, that we're going to reach the 31,000 US dollar level. So guys, now the question is, should you sell your Bitcoin exactly here or buy exactly here? Guys, ignore the price movement, ignore the FUD, and ignore the FOMO, just dollar cost average into Bitcoin, because even if you're going to buy exactly here and the price is going to come all the way back down to the 31,000 US dollar level, you would just drag your average entry price down and get a better position for Bitcoin. But if you're going to wait for any retracement, guys, this could happen that Bitcoin is going to break out and is not going to return back to these levels, and then you end up buying above the 50,000 US dollars. So yes guys, the best strategy is dollar cost average into Bitcoin and also the altcoins. And talking about altcoins, let's go over to the altcoins to find out what we could expect. And first we're going to go over to X, because I found this chart, and yes guys, we can see that this is the total 3 market cap, the market cap of all the altcoins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we can see that in the previous run we had this accumulation phase within the bear market, and then we saw this breakout from this accumulation phase and also this perfect retest, and afterwards we had this altcoin season. And yes guys, a lot of coins has been pumping in the previous year, but this is only the beginning. So yes, if we go on the daily chart, guys, this is your discount that you are getting at the moment on all these projects. Casper down 3% within the day, and a lot of coins that dumped towards the downside, and we can see that some coins have already recovered, like Injective. So yes guys, this is the discount that you're getting today on all these altcoins, because if we're going going to look at this chart, this looks extremely bullish. Yes, we're seeing this retest at the moment and this dump in the overall crypto market, but yes, this is just healthy for the overall market. And let's go over to the total 3 market cap, the market cap of all the altcoins excluding Bitcoin, and we can see we had this perfect retest of the zone, and I told you exactly here that we are most probably going to break out from this major W, and if this total 3 market cap is going to get this breakout, then we could expect that all of the altcoins are going to get this major move towards the upside. So this retracement and this consolidation exactly here and the retest of this major breakout point is actually quite bullish for the overall crypto market, because if we're going to get this perfect retest in this continuation, we could expect a massive altcoin season. And if we go over to say, and yes, I'm actually quite bullish on say, we can see that we had this major manipulation after we reached the high. We saw this major dump from the fake news and Bitcoin dragged all the altcoins down, and we saw this fast move all the way back down, and say had this major retracement all the way to the levels of 54 cents. But what is extremely important, which we didn't see for Bitcoin, yes, Bitcoin is hyped after this massive fake out towards the downside. We didn't see that Bitcoin filled this gap of this major wick towards the downside, but we could see that say came all the way back down from the higher low. And yes, this is extremely bullish for the price movement of say, because we came down to fill this gap and we bounced off perfectly from the 100 moving average exactly here. So this is ultimately giving me the sign that yes, that we have filled this gap and that we could expect the say is going to move even higher. Because yes, if we go over to Bitcoin, we can see that Bitcoin didn't have this move, we didn't fill this gap exactly here. And yes, normally Bitcoin doesn't like these V-shaped recovers, so we could expect, as for say, that we are sooner or later going to come all the way back down, maybe due to some volatility or even some fake news that price of Bitcoin is going to come all the way back up and all the way back down before we're going to get this approval from the SEC. So guys, be careful, and if you want to trade all of these moves, go down in the video description below and sign up to my free Telegram group, where you'll find all the instructions to my Signal group, and also make sure to sign up to Bybit to receive a massive deposit bonus, and you can trade on the spot market and the futures market. So guys, be careful out there, because we could expect a major pump or even a major volatile move for Bitcoin and the overall crypto market. And if you always want to stay up to date, make sure to smash up the like button and subscribe, and make sure to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.